wonderful, and everything is by far so spectacular. It feels like I've never felt. I've seen things I have never seen. Being with her will make me happy, and to fall in love don't care.
Hello, my name is Mark Aubrey, and I am running for the Silver Lake Regional School Committee. I have lived in Halifax for the past 5 years. My wife Kathy and I have been married for 18 years and could not think of a better community to raise our 2 daughters. My oldest currently attends Silver Lake Middle School and will be entering the regional high school in the fall. My youngest is completing 4th grade at Halifax Elementary. My extensive background in education will help me make informed decisions for our town and our children. I have been an educator for over 20 years. I have been a classroom teacher in large cities like Lowell and smaller towns like Burlington, and have found myself at home at South Shore Vocational Technical High School. I have spent the last 7 years as an administrator there, and currently I am the assistant principal. My responsibilities include building individual and district-wide budgets for multiple departments. I have a knowledge and understanding to know what is truly needed and when. When I first began to think about running for the school committee, I talked to quite a few people who have lived in our town a lot longer than me. One of them asked me, "Do you consider yourself a fiscal conservative?" My answer is no. I'm a fiscal realist. I believe that our town and our schools do need certain things to keep them strong and continue to attract families, and we should spend the money wisely on these items. But I believe our schools should be doing a better job of long-range planning. You do it with your own homes and vehicles. You know when your car needs new tires, when your house needs to be painted, when the roof needs replacing. How do we afford large ticket items for our homes and families? We budget and plan for them. Schools should be no different. Is it really a surprise to anyone that Halifax Elementary needs a new roof? Building a school budget is not much different than dealing with your own household finances. The largest portion of a school's budget is always going to be the teachers and staff. This cost is a given. It can be figured out pretty closely in advance by factoring contract increases. So set aside that money. What are you left with are the smaller choices. Do you fund this initiative or that one? Do you start a new course or a program? Do you continue supporting the club where participation is dwindling? Or do you put your financial support behind a new club with new spirits and ideas? Again, your family budget is not much different. Do you stay in or eat out? Do you buy a new car or fix the old one? Do you go on vacation this year? If you do, where? Or do you put that swimming pool in your 2 daughters have been pestering you for? Budget is about making choices, and some of them are not easy. To paraphrase Mick Jagger and Keith Richards one more time, schools should not always get what they want, but the students should get what they need. When I was considering entering this race, another resident of our town asked me, "What one recent action by the Regional School Committee would you have changed?" Although my vote might not have altered the outcome, I would have voted against the initiative to supply all 9th graders with a Chromebook. Yes, my daughter is going to be a 9th grader in the fall, but I still would not have supported this initiative. Not now. It's just not fiscally realistic to be spending this type of money. Approximately $100,000 year after year. Not in these tight budget times when every tax dollar is being contested, or when one of our town's elementary schools needs a new roof priced at $300,000. Doing the job of a school committee member is not easy. Building budgets, discussing new initiatives and mandates, addressing curriculum and personnel needs. There's so much to consider. Believe me, after working with a great many school committee members over the years, I understand the frustration that builds as you try to balance what is best for the students with what is reasonable for your town. If elected, I would hold regular open-door meetings where members of the community could ask questions of me, seek clarification on an issue before the committee, offer their input, or propose a new idea. A good idea is a good idea no matter where it originated from. How could I act in the best interests of our community if I didn't meet the people in it? I know a great many of you have seen my signs and wondered who I was. I know a great many of you are now able to put a face to that name. You likely see me at all the events around town, be it basketball or soccer with my little one, karate or drama with my oldest, or a worthwhile local good initiatives like Hops for Hops, Halifax and Lights, craft fairs, and parades. The next time you see me, please come up and talk to me. I'd love to meet you. I've talked a lot just now about the fact that being a school committee member is about making informed choices. I hope this May 16th you make your own informed choice and vote Mark Aubrey for Silver Lake Regional School Committee. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Cassandra Hanson, and I am running for re-election for the Silver Lake Regional School Committee in Halifax for a 4th term. I have lived in Halifax for the past 16 years, and I am committed to maintaining the high-quality education that is expected at Silver Lake. My husband Paul and I have 2 children, Joshua, 21, currently attending Bridgewater State University, and Julia, currently a junior at Silver Lake Regional High School. I currently serve on the Halifax Elementary School Committee, the Pilgrim Area Collaborative Board of Directors, as well as the Silver Lake Regional School Committee. Before making the decision to run for school committee, I served as the treasurer for the Halifax Elementary PTO and as a parent member for the school council at Silver Lake Regional Middle School. I was first elected to serve for the Silver Lake Regional School Committee as a write-in candidate in 2006. I have been privileged to serve for the last 9 years and hope to continue to serve for the next 3 years. If re-elected, I will continue to work with administration and fellow school committee members as well as town officials to continue high-level, cost-effective, educationally sound opportunities for all of our students. Over the past 9 years, I have served on many subcommittees: career and technical education, building and grounds, policy, negotiations, administrative review, and the revenue subcommittee. Each experience has given me a deeper understanding of the district, as well as the challenges that are faced each and every year in the efforts to balance the needs of the programs offered, building maintenance, improving student achievement, and fiscal responsibility. I have also served in the capacity as treasurer of the Silver Lake Regional School District, vice chairperson, and chairperson. As a veteran member of the committee, I believe I offer the knowledge necessary to meet the challenges in future years. I believe the most important tasks facing the Silver Lake Regional School Committee in the coming years are to maintain and enhance the quality of the educational experience for our students, maintain the investment in our buildings and grounds while being fiscally responsible to the town of Halifax. I believe that improving the committee's communication with all members of our community will benefit everyone during each and every year. Education is the foundation for success for the students of Halifax. For the past 7 years, I have served on both the Halifax Elementary School Committee as well as the Silver Lake Regional School Committee, because I believe there should be continuity in the educational program, even though the elementary and secondary programs are separate. I welcome the opportunity to continue to serve the parents, students, and Halifax community, and respectfully ask for your vote on May 16th, 2015.
Hello, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Pamela Raducci, current Assistant Tax Collector and candidate for Treasurer Collector of Halifax. My husband and I have lived in Halifax for 22 years with our 2 children, now 19 and 17. I am honest, hardworking, and dedicated to this town. The role of Treasurer Collector is an important one for the town and a goal I set for myself 8 years ago. My career with the town of Halifax started in 2007, beginning in a part-time position with the Board of Health and then transferring to the Collector's Office in 2008 as part-time clerical staff. I was responsible for opening and receiving mail, processing said mail in a timely manner, and waiting on the customers that came into the office. When the former assistant tax collector retired in 2013, I was chosen out of many applicants based on my years of experience, knowledge of the software system, accurateness, connection with the residents, and the ability to be bonded. I have attended numerous seminars related to the job and am currently enrolled in a municipal certificate program to become a certified Massachusetts tax collector. If elected as treasurer-collector, I intend to pursue my certification as a treasurer also. Having been cross-training in areas of the Treasurer's Department, such as payroll, accounts receivable, cash book entries, and tax title procedures, I feel ready to assume the treasurer-collector position. Prior to my 8 years of employment with the town, I have had 12 years banking experience, working as a head teller and also a customer service representative. I supported the branch manager in overseeing the daily functions of the branch and its employees, trained new staff, and was in charge of all incoming and outgoing cash shipments. In addition to auditing, teller's monies, ATM machine, and other negotiable instruments such as personal money orders and treasurer's checks. Some of the duties of treasurer-collector are managing a staff of 4 long-standing employees, making deposits and reconciling bank statements, issuing the tax bill and collecting the payments, assisting in municipal audits, preparing the department's budget, responsible for all employee benefits, health insurance, and payroll, oversee and administrate all aspects of the tax title process. All of this while working in accordance to Massachusetts general law and municipal policies. I have already been exposed to and involved with many of these duties for years. As a result of my 8 years employment with the town of Halifax, I have developed long-lasting working relationships with employees in other departments as well as the residents. I am the face they have seen when they come in to pay a bill or have a question. My municipal experience will serve our town well, and I would appreciate your vote on Saturday, May 16th. Thank you.
My name is Robin Marr, and I am running for treasurer-collector in the town of Halifax. I grew up in Plimpton, and when I married in 1987, my husband and I chose to live in Halifax and to raise our children here. Prior to that, my parents, Bob and Karen Castle, had a business here in Halifax for many years. The treasurer-collector position requires working knowledge of money management, investments, employee benefits, internal controls, and audit. This position requires very specific skills and experience and is important to ensure the town's overall financial health. Skills and experience that I have acquired over the last 30 years in the financial services industry. Over the last 14 years, I served as a director of managing multiple departments for administering employee benefit plans for large corporations. In addition to business operations, I have many other qualifications that will directly contribute to the treasurer-collector role, including budgeting, a strong background with money management, accounting and investments, and leadership experience. First, I have been responsible for a $2.8 million budget. I am well familiar with the development of a fiscally responsible budget, the need to remain within that fixed budget, and to manage expenses. Managing a budget with the fiscal bottom line in mind takes great discipline, and in my most recent position, I was able to reduce expenditures by 20% over a 5-year period. Next, I have relevant experience. I have held various security licenses over 20 years and have a strong knowledge of investments. I currently hold health and life insurance licenses with the Massachusetts Department of Insurance. In the treasurer position, it is important to understand how the financial condition of the town impacts our bond rating and therefore our ability to borrow when we need to. It is also important that the treasurer understand how investments are managed, where funds are held to offset our future liabilities, such as post-retirement benefits and retirement plan obligations. I also have been responsible for internal and external audits with very positive results. The ability for the town to successfully complete annual audits and demonstrate strong controls over our processing of money is very important. Negative findings, which is when the auditors determine that tasks are not controlled well enough, can consume resources to remediate those findings and take away from forward-moving initiatives. In addition to money management, investments, and audits, in the town of Halifax, the administration of employee benefits also falls under the responsibility of the treasurer. For more than 20 years, I have specialized in managing employee benefits for mid to large-size corporations. Being able to interpret documents, properly administer the plans, and to help our employees understand their options are all important parts of the treasurer's job. With much of my experience primarily focused on compliance and operational risk, I have analyzed and implemented necessary regulatory changes, a skill that is important in any leadership role. As a director in the financial industry, I have had significant leadership experience. Leadership is more than managing employees and work. It is the ability to foster a positive team environment where people will willingly collaborate and solve problems together. In addition to relevant experience and strong leadership capabilities, I also have a vested interest in our community. As a 28-year resident and working mother, I always felt it was important to give to the community through service. Putting my financial and leadership skills to work, I have volunteered in a variety of roles for the Boy Scout Troop 39, and I have also been involved with fundraising for Halifax Girls Softball. I have been honored to receive the President's Volunteer Service Award in 2011, 2012, and 2013 for more than 200 hours of community service in each of those years. I have a strong financial background and years of leadership experience that are well matched for the treasurer-collector position. I have a vested interest in the town's success as a longtime resident. I hope that you will let strong leadership, integrity, honesty, and experience work for the town of Halifax. Please come out and vote on Saturday, May 16th. Thank you.
Hello, I'm running for school committee in Halifax, and my name is Linda Twist-Joshua. My daughter has moved on to 7th grade at the middle school, and my son is in the elementary school in Mrs. Hoy's 5th grade class. We moved to Halifax November 1st of 2003, and the reason I remember that date so clearly is because my son was born 5 days later. We chose Halifax because we wanted an acre of land to have a big garden, have some chickens, and to raise our kids with a fine school system. We have great neighbors, and we are very happy here. I opened my own business 18 years ago. I own a dance studio in Weymouth, and I feel that the same abilities that I need to run a successful studio will help me succeed as a school committee member. I understand that you need to be fiscally sound in order to run any kind of successful organization, to work with a budget, not create unmanageable debt. Considering the needs of administrators, teachers, and students, I've taught dance for 35 years and have managed teachers for 12 years, and feel that even though it's not academic teaching, there are still a lot of similarities. I've worked with thousands of dance moms and dads, so you have to be a diplomat to do that well. I have one child who has an easy time and is in accelerated classes, and a child on an IEP who needs some extra help. So I understand the concerns of different students in their circumstances, including special ed. I had no political aspirations and was so happy with our children's education that my level of involvement in the school was just helping with the talent show, because that was my thing and the best way I could help. But then my husband Mike and I started to see some strange homework coming home, and I started to hear about the Common Core curriculum. Like most parents, we were not aware it was implemented in 2010, as parents were not notified or involved in that process. I have since done much research, and I am so troubled by Common Core that I'm trying to do something about it by running for this committee. I don't want our schools to lose control of our kids' education. I don't want even more time doing more standardized tests and teachers feeling pressured to spend more time teaching to the test than helping the kids to just learn. We have great teachers here. Let's let them do the job that they were trained for and hired to do. I don't want people who have never taught a class to be writing standards for our teachers. I don't want publishing companies collecting personal data of my kids. I don't like that the Common Core standards are copywritten by a private company, no elected official to vote out of office if we don't like what it is. It's a private company. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and the positive press about the Common Core can usually be traced back to funding from the organizations that will profit from it. In other words, the companies that make the tests, the books, the computers, the software. These companies have connections in the federal government, and although they are trying to make it appear to be state-led, I believe that this is a federal overreach. Secretary of Education Arne Duncan was very upset recently when hundreds of thousands of students opted out of the Common Core aligned PARCC test by saying that the federal government may have to step in. The 10th Amendment seems to have been forgotten about, as the federal government has no right to tell the states how to run their schools, and that concerns me greatly. I am running unopposed, so my main concern here is to have you know a little bit about who I am, and to please ask you to vote yes on question 1 so we can send the message that Halifax does not want Common Core in our schools. There are many issues in our schools we have to face, but I feel that Common Core is the biggest threat to our children's education. I also strongly encourage you to attend school committee meetings to have your voice heard on all the topics that affect our schools and our children. See you on Election Day, and thank you.
Hi there, my name is Summer Schmaling. I've lived in Halifax for about 6 years now. I have a daughter in 4th grade and a son in kindergarten. I'm running for the Halifax Elementary School Committee. I have sat on the board for about a year now, and I decided to run for re-election mostly because I'm concerned with the fact that I believe there's a loss in local control in education with the implementation of the Common Core state standards as part of the Massachusetts curriculum frameworks. I support more parental involvement in education, more teacher involvement in the curriculum choice and textbook choice and what they're teaching in the classroom. I would like to kindly ask for your support at the polls on May 16th, and also to support question 1 and vote yes, which will instruct the legislature to remove the Common Core state standards from the Massachusetts curriculum frameworks, restoring local control of education. I'll see you at the polls.
Good evening, and thank you to Cable Access Television for giving me this opportunity to present myself to those folks who don't know me and who have never had occasion to interact with the building inspector's office here in the town of Halifax. I'm Tom Elias. I'm running for selectman. A little bit about myself. I'll keep it brief. I moved to Halifax almost 40 years ago. I immediately fell in love with the town. I know that sounds corny, it even feels corny saying it, but it's a fact. It's someplace I really grew to really like, and the people in the town, especially 40 years ago. There was less than 3,000 people. Literally everybody knew everybody. I had the opportunity to raise my children in Halifax, which was wonderful. I lived across the street from the town hall on Hemlock Lane. It was great. Actually, if you want to think about it, I've either been looking at the town hall or been in it for almost 40 years. I was able to participate in a small town, which is a very, very wonderful thing. You can go to a town meeting, you can interact with residents, you can make your feelings known, you can participate in anything you care to participate in, and that's how I got involved with the town of Halifax, and why I'm still involved with the town of Halifax. It gave me so many unique opportunities. I was able to work literally 4 minutes from home. Not many people get that opportunity. To be able to be close enough to my children to participate in school events, a wonderful school. I was also fortunate in 1978 to participate as a member of the Silver Lake Regional School Committee. I served for 5 years. It was a wonderful experience. I was a young guy. I was only 27 when I went on the board. The learning curve was pretty long. But after about 5 years, I had a young family. I had a lot of demands. I couldn't continue to serve. I again got involved in 1992 on the Board of Assessors, which I still serve on, some 23 years later. Probably one of the best kept secrets in town. In 1997, I was appointed as the building inspector because of my background in the building business. I worked for many years for Belcher Cunningham out of Pembroke, which was formerly Homes by Henrich. I had a lot of experience, and we built a lot of homes in the Halifax area, where I was fortunate enough to get acquainted with and participate with many residents. I now am seeking the position of selectman. The selfish part of that is I've been engaged in the town for many years. It's hard for me to consider disengaging, and I think that this would be a perfect position for me. The learning curve is greatly diminished. I have participated in pretty much every aspect of the town government for the last 23 years. It's kind of a natural transition for me. I'm going to talk a little bit about what I think the role of the Board of Selectmen is. Most people think of the Board of Selectmen as an adjudicating board, where the board is mediating between neighbors with issues, typically barking dogs or biting dogs, which is worse. But it is more than that, and should be more than that. The Board of Selectmen is the navigator of the town. The keeper too, but the navigator. It's up to the Board of Selectmen to set the agenda for the town, not just for today, not for next week, but for the future, for the next 15, 20 years. Now, granted, all those goals will probably never be met, but they need to be discussed. There needs to be a course set for the town. There needs to be a call out for volunteers. One of the biggest problems that most towns face today is that we can't find enough volunteers. And I get it. Things are different 40 years later. Families have to have 2 people working. It's a real demand to come and serve on a board, especially if you want to do the job right. But this is what it needs, the town. We need volunteers. And part of what I'm doing here tonight is imploring people to think about it, to ask what kind of positions you can fill on different boards. I want to be on that board that sets an agenda for this town. I want to be on that board that thinks about the future. I think I'm the right guy at the right time in the right place. Now that I'm going to be retired as of June 30th, I'll have the time and the energy to devote to this position. And for those of you who come out and support me, I want to say thank you in advance. And I also want to say thank you to you all for the many, many years of support that I've received as the building official, and in particular the zoning officer of the town, which is the harder of the 2 parts of the position. Again, thank you. Thank you very much.
On top of the universe, on a shooting star, well, life is so wonderful and everything is by far so spectacular. On top of the universe, on that shooting star, well, life is so wonderful